Lavrenti. Thank you for the interview. It's a pleasure for us and for our association to have you as a guest. And we can start with our first question now. First of all, let's assess a trend in the world regarding both land-based casinos and online gambling. It seems that even countries like Azerbaijan have started talking about legalizing gambling. What do you think about this issue?
Hello, and thank you for inviting and for asking my opinion on the industry development. Yes, you know that during the last many years, gaming industry is growing worldwide and new markets introduced gaming legalization. And we see that trend to continue, as you correctly said. Such countries as Azerbaijan actually for the last years are talking about legalizing gaming business. We know that Kyrgyzstan legalized gaming recently, and other countries are looking. For example, Thailand, which is a great surprise. They recently established a commission that should have researched the idea of legalizing gaming in Thailand, and they concluded that this is worth doing. And it seems like we will see casinos in Thailand soon, which will, of course, give a great benefit for the local tourism economy. And in Georgia, we are glad to have legal gaming industry for many years already, and it is developing very rapidly and giving substantial input to the local economy and tourism development. But if speaking about what are the general new trends that I see in the world gaming, is actually the trend of online and land-based businesses to come to joint products. We see that many players are looking for products that combine land-based and online operations. Thus, they can benefit from both products under one management and being able to gamble both online and land-based with a trusted brand. And we see that many online platform providers are looking towards operations with the land-based business, and we see land-based casinos actively presenting their products online. We also see online casino operators looking for live tables streamed from the land-based casinos. So that's what I see as a general trend in terms of the development of the industry, the new trend. But also the other important trend is actually the new place of gaming itself in the developed countries. What I mean is that if we talk about developed countries, we see that they have quite a reasonable amount of spare income that they would like to spend on entertainment or tourism or whatever. And we see that games take a substantial part, a noticeable part in this. So I think that the new trend of gaming will be also in getting more and more part in human entertainment, let's say. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lavrenti. And now we can talk about the main challenges in our industry. What do you think? What are main challenges now?
Well, it's actually I just came to this idea the new trend of realizing gaming as a substantial part of human entertainment, we see that the big challenge for the industry is actually coming from just earning money to understanding its role in social life. And we see that actually in developed markets. For example, we know that initially Las Vegas was just about gambling, and then when competition for the gambler went to a certain level, the operators started to expand their products with other types of entertainment, and in the end, now we see that Las Vegas earns more money from other entertainments rather than from gambling. What I mean is that they realized they are about. They are not just about earning money from the games, but they are about the product, which is giving people something valuable in return to the money that they spend. So what I mean is that developing markets and the operators in the developing markets and worldwide in general should actually understand their role in society. What is their positive role? And then act with that understanding, not only thinking about money. And this is the only way for them to be competitive in future, because those who will be thinking just only about business, I mean, purely about numbers and money and games, not giving something more valuable, extensive to the player, they will lose in future competition.
Thank you. My third question is about the principles of responsible gaming. What do you see as a solution, and how modern world should fight gaming addiction?
Well, I actually have been dealing with this question for many, many years in that way or another. And I also have experience in establishing the help center for gaming addicted. So I have some experience and I can speak a little bit on this topic. Why did I say that? Is because I will say something not standard. My opinion is that only the person that is addicted is able to help himself getting out of trouble, and nobody else can help him until that person is asking for help and is understanding that he or she actually needs that help. So what I mean is there is no any possible social activity that would solve a personal problem of addiction. And we actually see that in normal, transparent gaming operations and in developed markets, the number of addicted players is relatively small to the general number of players. And we can say that this is a more or less personal problem. But for example, in new markets, we quite often see this problem more, let's say, in a bigger scale, like in Georgia, for example. But this is not pure gambling addiction as I see it in these numbers that we see people, young people, many of them playing online games and spending their small money, what they have, so everything for online games. We see that, but I don't think this is actually an addiction. This is a problem of them not having an option to spend their time with more interest and maybe income or something, rather than cheap online games. And we do not need to fight addictions. We need to develop society and general economy for people to have interesting jobs and other ways to entertain themselves, afford these ways to entertain themselves rather than cheap online games. That's the best way to go. But of course, one of the main and basic rules for that is also transparent operators, legal operators, when they do not extensively promote themselves, when they have rules, when they have limits and so on. We know all that, and it's actually pretty present in Georgia. Of course, the banking system should be linked to the casino and online operators in terms of not letting people with debt in banks to gamble. And unfortunately, in Georgia, for example, we see it vice versa, when sometimes online operators they protect players from the banking system where they have debts and let them gamble. That's not correct, of course. That shouldn't happen. These are aggressive ways of doing business, which is not possible in a properly regulated jurisdiction. But again, the most important is to develop the society in general and provide them with good social opportunities, education, jobs, entertainment, and so on. That should be equally developed. And then when people have enough option and enough variance what to do when they have free time and they want to entertain themselves, so they can choose. And from time to time it can be gambling as well. It's nothing bad about it.
Thank you for sharing your interesting opinion about this topic. I think that it's really like the most vulnerable topic in the industry, like gaming addiction and responsible gaming. My next question is about regulations. Do you think more regulations in the gaming industry means that it's a better regulated field? Like, what can wrong regulations lead into the gaming business?
A good question, because we see very often when good markets come to bad markets only because being overregulated. This is the problem of how our society is established, because lawmakers need to do their job and they always look to make something better, and that's making better is not really going to good very often. Why? Not because gaming business doesn't like new regulations or want to have as few regulations as possible, no, but because of just the normal investment planning. And if I am a big investor able to invest in your market huge amount of money, which any proper modern gaming project requires, then I would like to know that the rules that I am planning to play in your market will not change within a certain period of time. Otherwise, my business plan will become actual, right? So if you are improving your legal framework every 2-3 years, like we see in many developing markets, you are sending a signal to the international investment community that your market is not predictable and is not stable. And will see runners only those looking for quick money in your market. Those guys actually are trying to play more gray games rather than long-term big investors. Do you get what I mean? I mean, with trying to make your laws better and better each time, you are not getting good results because changing your rules, market rules, too often attracts only quick investors, those who are looking for quick money. Thus, if you want to have really proper developed industry, you better see how it was regulated worldwide and apply these rules to your market, and then do not touch it at least for 10 years. And then after 10 years, you may see whether there are any changes actually required, but the market will get proper investors who are looking for long-term investment. And then by long-term competition, these investors, these companies will provide properly balanced product to the market that will be balanced both socially and financially, and that's it, and that let it work. That's how I see it should be done. But unfortunately, in developing markets, it is very seldom. Hopefully, we see Georgia being more or less stable in these terms for the next few years, because we see bigger and bigger companies investing huge money in Georgian gaming business, including online. We know that major operators are now owned by huge international operators, and we would like them to be quite happy about local markets, not send back who may be looking in other fields, not only in gaming.
Thank you. And our last question for today's podcast is about situation in post-Soviet countries, especially in Ukraine and in Georgia. What recommendations would you give to those who are interested in investing in gaming field in those countries, in Georgia and in Ukraine?
Well, these are two different markets at the moment. Ukraine is in the state of war, and I really
I totally agree. You can choose one of them, and
not able to advise anything about investment in gaming business in Ukraine right now, and advise about what they are doing is now do not take license fees that are pretty high, if not the highest in the markets like that around the world. They do not take this money from the operators now, as far as I know. So those who are willing to operate now are operating just by paying the table and slot taxes, not paying the license fees, which is helping them, of course, in these difficult conditions from one hand, and from the other hand, the budget gets at least something from those taxes that they're paying, and they are providing some jobs. But the situation is getting worse and worse in terms of the social infrastructure, and it is really difficult to say how it's going to develop. But what I think in the long term, of course, Ukraine will become a fantastic market when all this terrible story finishes. I'm pretty sure that this is a great future market, but now they are in a very difficult situation, and I will wish them only to overcome this situation as soon as possible. And Georgia is doing pretty well, pretty good, except that we see some political initiatives from time to time, willing to get some political bonuses and or PR out of this topic. But in general, the legislation is pretty balanced, and we have some correct initiatives implemented about the central blacklist and limiting the advertisement opportunities for the casino operators. This is pretty balanced decisions. In general, we see more operators coming to the market of Batumi, new operators also coming to Tbilisi, and it's going pretty fine. And we also see that live studios are looking, new live studio operators are looking in doing business in Georgia. We know that Evolution, for example, has the biggest studios here. So we see now the market recovering pretty well after the pandemic, and I think it's a good market for the investment. We still have place for the new operators, I'm pretty sure, because the tourism is growing, and the major operators, at least land-based operators, they're doing business from foreign players who are coming to Georgia from other countries, and as soon as this trend, the tourism trend is growing and predicted to grow, I think we still have place for the new operators in this region, including new regions that may become gaming pearls in future for the long-term investors, and like Tshaltubo, for example, with very good taxation benefits. So those who are interested may contact me, and I will explain them in details. There are fantastic projects also possible in Georgia. So, but I'm pretty sure in the end, Ukraine will face with massive business development together with the general overall development of the whole economy.
My really actually last question is about Batumi Gaming Fest. As I know, you are the one of the initiator of this amazing festival of gaming business. So can you give us some review and feedback, and are you satisfied with this event, and give us your impressions, please?
Yeah, we're actually very happy about the results. We even didn't expect that so many operators will jump in from the first time, because that was the first event of such a scale in Batumi, not even in Batumi, but in Georgia. We didn't have Gaming Expo in Georgia yet, and we decided to do the first in Batumi, which was double difficulty, but it all went very, very well. We've seen big operators among our sponsors, including IGT, and we had the biggest casino, Eclipse, being our partner in this event. So we had everyone who is more or less related to the local gaming business at the event. So it went very well. And we, after talking to our exhibitors and partners and attendees, we decided to make the next one in Tbilisi. So the next Gaming Fest will be in 2023 in Tbilisi, and the year after will be in Batumi. So we think of doing 1 in 2 years in Batumi and 1 in 2 years in Tbilisi, so that Batumi operators once travel to Tbilisi, and once in 2 years Tbilisi operators travel to Batumi. So it is a good opportunity for them to see each other and to change, the place of the meeting. So Yeah, and we also have very good opportunities here in Tbilisi to make a bigger show, bigger expo. And unfortunately, in Batumi, we lack a proper expo hall yet. And hopefully sometime we'll have one. But in Tbilisi, we do have, so it's going to be a bigger event, more exhibitors, bigger and more intense conferences and entertainment, of course. After parties and pre-parties, everything will be even bigger and brighter. So yeah, we will definitely get into the world calendar of gaming events, with Georgian events being like bright and really attractive for people, not only to come for business, but also to come just to have some good time, good networking in nice atmosphere, as we all know Tbilisi and Batumi are. So yeah, we have great plans, and yeah, you are of course definitely invited. Just follow us and we will keep you updated. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lavrenti. It was like amazing podcast and amazing interviews. Thank you for sharing your interesting opinions about the main issues in gambling industry. I hope we see you soon in the next podcasts too about different issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you.